Please court, Your Honor. My
Hola.
partner, Joaquin Cruz, and I, Alondra Moctezuma, will represent the people in the case of the International Criminal Court versus Mohammed Talib Pasha. Your Honor, many people may be wondering, why have a trial now? Didn't this take place over 100 years ago? We would like to have a look of the words of Hillary Clinton. In 2010, she traveled to Armenia and visited the Armenian General Memorial. At the time, she concurred that it was indeed a genocide. Then a year and a half later, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton told 2012 town hall meeting in Washington, D.C. in response to a question regarding the administration's refusal to recognize the Armenian genocide. She stated, "This has always been viewed, and think properly so, a matter of historical debate. Your Honor, this is not a matter of historical debate. It's a matter of fact, a matter of mass murder, and more importantly, a matter of time to put all of this to rest. It is the perfect time to prosecute Mohammed Talib Pasha with 14 different crimes. This includes 4 accounts of genocide, Article 6, A, B, C, E, with 6 accounts of criminal against humanity, Article 7, A, B, C, D, E, H, and with 4 accounts of war crimes, Article 8, A, 1, 2, 3, 4, B, 2, Article 6, genocide. For the purpose of the statute, genocide means any of the following acts committed with the intent to destroy in a whole or in a part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group, and such. A, killing a member of a group. B, causing serious body or mental harm to a member of the group. C, deliberately inflicting the group conditions in life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in a whole or in a part. D, imposing measurements intended to prevent birth within the group. E, forcibly transforming children of the group to another group. Article 7, crimes against humanity. For the purpose of the statute, crimes against humanity means any of the following acts when committed as part of the widespread and systematic attack directly against any civilian population with knowledge of the attack. A, murder. B, extermination. C, enslavement. D, deportation of forcibly transfer of population. E, imprisonment of other severe deprivation of physical liberty in violation of fundamental rules of international law. F, torture. G, rape, sexual slavery, enforced prostitution, forced pregnancy, enforced sterilization, or any form of sexual violence of a compatible gravity. H, persecution against any identical group or collectively on a political, racial, national, ethnic, cultural, religious, gender defined in paragraph 3, or other groups that are universally recognized and imprisonable under international law in connection with any act referred to it in the paragraph, or any crime within the justification of the court. Article 8, war crimes. First, the court shall have a jurisdiction in respect of the crimes in particular when committed part of a plan or policy or in parts of a large-scale commission of such crimes. Second, for the purpose of the statute, war crimes means A, grave breaches of Geneva Convention of 12 August 1949, namely on the following acts against persons or property protected under the provision of the relevant Geneva Convention. 1, willful killing. Second, torture and inhuman treatment, including biological experiments. 3, willful causing great suffering and serious injury to the body or to health. 4th, extensive destruction and appropriate property not justified by military necessity and carry out unlawful and want only. 5th, unlawful deportation or transferred unlawful confinement. B, other serious violation of the law custom applied in the international armed conflict within the establishment of framework international law, namely any of the following acts. First, intentionally directed attacks against the civilian population as such against individual civilians not taking direct part in hostilities. Second, intentionally directed attacks against civilian objects that is objected to, which are not military objectives. Statement of facts. There are at least 8 official orders signed by Mohammed Talib Pasha, Minister of the Interior, that directly ties Mohammed Talib Pasha to genocide, war crimes, and against humanity. Concerning his role in determination of Armenian population, March 1915 and January 19 16. First, March 25th, 1915, the Jamiat Delegate of Adana. The duty of everyone is to affect the broadest lines possible to realization of noble project, wiping out the existent well-known elements who for centuries have been barrier to the empire progress in civilization. We must therefore take upon ourselves the entire responsibility of pledging ourselves to this act, no matter what happens, and always remembering how this is a great satisfaction may lead to the desired end. In our dispatch date, February 18, we announced that Digimit had decided to uproot and annihilate the different forces which for centuries have been hindrance. For this purpose, it is forced to restore very bloody methods. Certainly, the contemplation of this method horrifies us. Digimit saw no other way of ensuring the stability of its work. Ali Risa, the committed delegate of Aleppo, harshly criticized us and urged that meaningful, such as simplifying, is nothing short of stupidity. We find a place for all those who will not cooperate with us, a place where we will wring their delicate heartstrings. Again, let me remind you, the question of the properly left. This is very important. Watch the distribution of the village. Always examine the counts and the use of the process. Jamiat. Second, September 3rd, 1915, to the Prefecture of Aleppo. We advise you to include the women and children, and also in order which have previously prescribed as to apply the males of intended persons. Selected employees are confident for these duties. Minister of Interior, Talat. Third, September 16th, to the Prefecture of Aleppo. You have already been advised and that the government, by order of the Jamiat, had decided to destroy completely all the indicated persons living in Turkey. All who oppose the decision and command cannot remain on the official staff of the empire. Their existence must come to an end, however tragic may mean, and no regards may be paid to either age or sex or the continuous scruples. Minister of Interior, Talat. Fourth, November 18, 1915, the prosecutor of Aleppo. It appears from the internations which have recently been made by the American ambassador, Mr. Morgenthau, at the Constantinople on behalf of its government, that the American consuls are obtaining information by secret means. They remain unconvinced despite our assurance that the deportation will be accomplished in a safe and comfort. Be careful that events with attract attention shall not occur in connection with those who are near cities and other centers. In view of our present policy, it is more important for foreigners who in those parts shall be convinced that the expulsion of the Armenians is reality only deportation. Therefore, it is necessary to show a gentle dealing shall be for a while, and that usual measures should be suitable place. All persons who have given information to the contrary shall be arrested and handed over the military authorities for trial by court-martial. This order is recommended as a very important talat. Fifth, December 11, 1915, to the Prefecture of Aleppo. We are informed from the correspondence of Armenian journals are acquiring photographs and letters which, despite the tragic events, and these they give the Armenian consul at Aleppo. Dangerous people of this kind must be arrested and suppressed. Minister of Interior. 6. December 29, 1915, to the Prefecture of Aleppo. We are informed that foreign officers are finding along the roads the corpse of the indicated persons are photographing them. Have these corpses buried at once and do not allow them to be near the roads. This order is recommended very important. Minister of Talat. 7. January 15, 1916, to the governors of Aleppo. We are informed of the certain orphanage which openly has also admitted the children of Armenians. Should this be done throughout ignorance of our real purpose or because of the content of it, the government will view the feeding of these children or any efforts to prolong their lives and act completely opposite of its purpose, since it regards the survival of these children and detrimental. I recommend the orphanage not to review such children, and no attempt are to be made to establish special orphanage for them. Minister of Interior, Talat. 8. and dated 1916 for the Minister of Interior of Governor Alopo. Only those orphanages who cannot remember the terrors to which these parents have subjected must be collected and kept. Send the rest away with Karavich, Minister of Interior, Talat. There are two identified documents conversation that direct deal with the Armenian genocide. First, a person conversation with Dr. Muhammad and German Mibasi in July 1915. Muhammad Talib Pasha said, Turkey is taking advantage of the war in order to liquidate Brunchland Afusman, its internal foes, the indigenous Christians, without being herbally disturbed by foreigners' inventions. The second was 1918, after the German ambassador persistently brought the Armenian question in 1918. Talat said with a smile, "What on earth do you want? The question is settled. There are no more Armenians." Arguments. First, Argument 1. Muhammad Talib Pasha is guilty of 4 counts of genocide, according to Article 6. A. Killing members of the group. B. Causing serious body or mental harm to members of the group. C. Deliberately inflicting the group conditions of life calculated to bring out its physical destruction in a whole or in a part. E. Forcibly transferring children of groups to another group. A charge of genocide under the Roman Statute, Article 6, states the killing members of the group Armenians. Evidence for violation of Article 6 can be seen in this written document by Muhammad Talib Pasha, September 16, to the Prefecture of Alopo. You have been advised that the government, by order of the Jemet, have decided to destroy completely all the indicated persons, Armenians, living in Turkey. All who oppose this decision and command cannot remain on the official staff of the empire. Their existence must come to an end, however tragic they may be, and no regards must be paid either age or sex, or continuously scrubbed. Minister of Interior Talat. As well as a circular order of April 24, 1915, that was signed by Muhammad Talib Pasha, Minister of Interior, ordering the beginning of Armenian genocide. General Director of National Police Organization, 3052 Private Secretary, the Autumn Army Commander-in-Chief, followed the copy of the note of Office of Prime Minister of Office of Commander-in-Chief. Your Highness, Armenian committees with the Political Revolution Organization, Autumn, has long been pursuing again administration autonomy, and despite is displaced once more, in no uncertain terms, with the inclusion of the Russian Armenians, who has assumed position against us, together with the Deshaman Committee, in no time in region of Seljutan, Biltan, Sivas, and Van, in accordance with the decision that they have previously taken, pertaining the inclined appeals with all their forces at every opportunity, hinder in the welfare and in the future of our country. When the autumn, their forces are very importunate to hinder. Army was in the weakest position and was also engaged in war. When the discovery of the bombs and the autumn Armenians joining the Russian forces by forcing voluntary regains against the autumn state had become evident of the committees who administrate centers are Europe bearing the objective and revolutionary entitles had gathered in Kansaria, Sylvia, and other provides in order to insulate appeals in regions behind the threat of a Tom army, every opportunity throughout their attempts, organizations, and publications. Consequently, the government has taken measures to prevent the continuing of these events and organizations. There are dents of mischief throughout the previously declared. The immediate closing down of the branches of the new Bar, Hinjak, and Tashna committed, as well as similar organizations in the capital and other provides, seizing all of the documents and the materials without any losses, arresting of the leaders and the members of the committees. Of all the persons who have taken part in the activities of the Armenians, who are well known as the police forces, gathering of the suspicious people in the area and towns so as prevented to their escape, launching for research weapons in suitable place have been found appropriate. Furthermore, for any inconvenience that might arise, the commander shall be consulted. This measures taken shall be realized justly, and should arise, the commander should be consulted. The measure taken shall be realized justly, and there should be arrested throughout the investigation of the document, and criminal shall be sent to the military court immediately. Should you approve, I humbly kindly request the issuing of the necessary orders. April 24, April 24, 1915, Minister of Interior Affairs, Talat. More evidence of Muhammad Talat Pasha involvement can be testified of the Turkish military tribunal in 1919, a Constantinople, the complicity of civilians and military authorities. First, the involvement of the Interior Ministry. Page 5. Mr. who was sent to Aleppo brought the court attention that intended the deportation was destruction as admitted to him by A. Nuri with his words. I contacted Mr. Talat and personally received the order to exterminate. Page 6 indicates that Interior Ministry and the Semiyet were involved in the handling of this brilliance. Page 7, with the notation captive, Mr. Talat sealed the report. Page 8, the disciple contingent of wire sent by Mr. Mohammedan Shakir is marked to the Central Committee throughout the Interior Ministry of Talat Bey. Page 8, former Ankara Governor Mr. Mashhar been dismissed for having refused to carry out the proposal related to the deportation and destruction of the Armenians, and about 2 country executives were annihilated for objecting to the Astro cities and executed preparation against the Arabs to the deportation initiated by the government by Djamiyat Berkir. However, a few trials did take place before Turkey court martials in Istanbul of basis of Article 45 and 170 of the Autumn Penal Code. Several ministers of the wartime Turkish cabinet and leaders of Intel Party included the main archist of genocide. The Young Turk leader Muhammad Talat Pasha, Minister of Interior, and Avensar Pasha, Minister of War, were tried in Abestan and convicted. The trial provided further evidence of various aspects of the genocide against the Armenians. The accused were found guilty in the judgment of 5 July 1919. The organization and execution of this crime massacre against the Armenian population. Evidence of the violation of Article 6a can be also seen through the contemporary accounts of these as a report of the 20th century first genocide, international law, impunity, the right to reproduce either cleansing against the Armenian 1915 to 1916. Decades of persecution of small massacre of Christian Armenians in the Ottoman Empire culminate in the systematic deportation of extermination campaign conducted by Young Turk Inhat government in 1915 and 1916. There are various estimates of numbers of people who directly and indirectly lose their lives in the wake of a genocide campaign. At least 1 million Armenians, probably 1.5 million, were put to death. While Earth looked down, the massacre began on 24th April 1915 and already had 5 weeks late on 28 May 1915. The government of France, Great Britain, and Russia issued the joint declaration denouncing Ottoman government's massacre of the Armenian population in Turkey as continuing crimes against humanity and civilization, of which all these members of Turkish government can be held responsible together with its agents implied in the massacre. This statement was quoted in the Armenians memorandum presented by the Greek delegation to the 1919 Commission of the 15 members of the Paris Peace Conference in 14 massacres of Armenians by the Turks and deportation of the survival concentration camps in Syria and Mesopotamia. These hundreds of thousands of perished. The Armenian ambassador at Henry Morgenthau kept careful diaries of his meetings with a high government official, including the Minister of Interior and the chief of Itihad Party, Pasha Talat, in a note dated 4 November 1950. He reported to the Washington that it had frightened almost everyone in the submission. There are no opposition party in existence. The press is carefully censored and most obeyed the wishes of the Union of the Progress Party. They had annihilated to display at least 2/3 of the Armenian population. A charge of genocide under the Roman Statute, Article 6 states, because he caused serious bodily or mental harm of members of the group, the Armenians. Evidence for violation of the Article 6b can be seen in the written documents of Muhammad Tala Pasha. September 16, to the Prefecture of Aleppo. You have already been advised that the government, by order of the Gemet, have decided to destroy completely all the indicated persons living in Turkey. All who oppose this decision cannot remain in official staff of the empire. Their existence must come to an end, however tragic may be, and no regards must be paid either of age or sex or consensuous scruples. Minister of Talat. This evidence of violation, Article 6b, shows that Muhammad Talash is not only ordered to destruction of Armenian people, he ordered the court-martials of anyone who would not obey his orders, as well as covering up the real intent of what was going on, alleging deportation. November 18, 1915, to the Prefecture of Aleppo. It appears from the interactions which have recently been made by Armenian ambassador, Mr. Morgenthau, at Constantinople. On behalf of his government, American consuls are obtaining information by some secret means. They remain unconvinced despite our assurance that deportations will be combined in safety and comfort. Be careful that events which attack intention should not occur connecting with those who are nearby cities or centuries. In view of our present policies, it's more important that the foreigners who are in parts shall be convinced that expulsion of Armenians is reality only deportation. Therefore, it is necessary that a show of gentle dealing shall be made for a while, and unusual measures take a suitable disposition shall be made, and while unusual measures take a suitable place, all persons who have been given information contrary shall be arrested and handed over to military authorities for a trial of court-martials in order. Pasha had a U.S. ambassador of Saturday, April 24, 1915. According to Muhammad Diary, enter of the date that he had dinner on the night of Talat. He had a conversation with Zionist movement in Turkey. Morgenthau suggested that Turkey should embrace the Zionist movement. Talat told him that he didn't want to trust the Zionists and didn't want non-Turkish in the empire. Morgenthau then asked about the Armenians. He was told by Talat that the Armenians were arrested and would be moved to the entire of the country where they could do no harm. On April 27, 1915, at 4 p.m., Ambassador Henry Mohammedan cabled his boss, William Jennings Bryan, the Secretary of State, informing him about the 100 Armenians of the better class who were arrested and deported. He then mentioned that one of the people were arrested, Leon Crean, a native person who is a naturalized United States citizen. Morgenthau concluded that this was a part of concerned effort against all non-Turkish and non-Cup elements. No harm, Your Honor. We cannot have this. This is a clear cut of genocide, plain and simple, and you should return guilty the verdict of all accounts of genocide. Article 6, A, killing of members of group. B, causing serious body of mental harm to members of the group. C, deliberately inflicting the group of conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction of a whole or in part. Forcibly transfer children of the group to another group. Thank you for your time.